Hello, everybody. It's time, at least this clock tells me it's time to start with today's presentation. My name is Erica van Doorn, and I'm the director of Sympany. With me is Eric van Weert. He is a shareholder and board member of Saxel. Later on, I will ask him some questions, so he will join me on stage. Sympany is one of the largest textile collection companies in the Netherlands. We collect annually about 20 million kilograms of post-consumer textiles. And the profit we make, we invest in innovations to make the circular textile value chain happen. And thereby we contribute to a more sustainable use of raw materials, which I know many of you have already learned a lot about here at this fair. A technical report issued by the EU Commission states that the last 15 years our textile consumption has increased with 20%. In 2018, we consumed about 12.3 kilograms of textiles per person. And please bear in mind that 1 kilogram of textiles contains about 3 items. So you know, on average, how many items we all, on average, tend to buy each year. And then, once we bought it, we only tend to wear it 7 times before we chuck it away. And I'm sure you all think that's not me, but on average, this is the case. So our consumption is really a problem. Each year, millions of tons of textiles are produced, used, and thrown away. So now you've probably seen those textile collection bins in a public space, or you prefer to donate your used textiles somewhere else. In any case, only 45% of the textiles in the Netherlands is collected separately, which means that 55% ends up with the other residual waste. This material is incinerated and gone forever. So we need a lot of actions to try and decrease this number of 55%. Textile collectors like Sympany, we finance our operations by reselling the re-wearable items on global reuse markets. So about 10% in quality of the re-wearable textiles provides over half the economic value of a typical bag of donated textiles. So without the re-wearable items, the textile collection companies would cease to exist. So we need this to pay for our operations. About 20 to 30% of the textiles that's being collected is not fit for reuse. So we call this recycle qualities. Typical, the recycle qualities end up as industry wipes or insulation or other very low-grade products. We call this open loop recycling. The material will never ever be a piece of garment again. Prices for these recycled qualities are at rock bottom. Collecting and sorting these recycled qualities cost more than the price they can be resold for. So this is currently a big problem. In the future, I believe we need automated sorting facilities to sort out these very low-value products, these low-value recycled qualities. And manual sorting is likely to remain essential for sorting out the re-wearable items. It will not be possible in the foreseeable future to sort these re-wearable qualities on product type and quality for the reuse markets. Ideally, we want those recycled qualities, this 20 to 30%, to end up in high quality products, to use the material for making new yarns and new textiles. Today, only 1% of post-consumer textiles ends up in garments. And I'm sure you've heard this number before. Ellen MacArthur Foundation has studied this and communicated a lot about this. And the typical barriers for increasing this 1% are technical challenges. So, for instance, with mechanical recycling, the fiber length shortens. In consequence, you get a lower quality product. Separation of fiber types is a challenge, because many materials contain different types of materials. So that's a challenge to separate those. Another challenge is gathering and sorting sufficient quantities of recyclable textiles, while at the same time not closing off preferable reuse pathways. And there are also substantial economic and market-based challenges. For one, these recycled content yarns are much more expensive than the virgin counterpart. These 4 challenges currently prevent us from increasing the number of post-consumer textiles to be used to make new yarns and new textiles. Circular business models create value during the use phase and the end of life phase of textiles. So examples of circular business models typically include durable design, sharing and leasing services, repair and refurbishment, and the take-back and the sorting and redistribution of second-hand clothes. With chemical recycling, value is created at the end phase of textiles. This technology allows for really high value products, high quality products. Chemical recycling, and Eric is really an expert on this, but basically what you do is you reduce a material to the base components, which then can be spun into new fibers and new yarns. And although many of the chemical recycling technologies are currently not fit for industry scale, it is expected that some of the more promising technologies will expand in the next few years. And personally, I believe Saxel will be one of them. Now, we hope that increased fiber-to-fiber recycling will grow significantly in the future, in the next few years, by an increased demand for recycled yarns by producers and brands. And I truly hope that the EPR, the Extended Producer Responsibility System that we will be having, will contribute to this increased demand. Now, let's play a game. And let's get your mobile phone and see what you've learned. We do a little Kahoot. You can navigate to kahoot.it. Kahoot, you see how it's spelled there. And you enter this code 5851188. Let's see what you've learned. Yeah? Do I get the questions on screen soon? a little quiz. Right. How many pieces of clothing does a person throw away in a year? If you're good at math, you will be able to do the right guess. 25, 12, 40, or 62. An average number. Please don't take yourself as a reference. So the right answer is 40. Many of you can really do the math. I can see that. Next question, please. True or false? Only 1% recycled material is used in new production of production of new clothing. I think this is a giveaway, yeah? Kind of a no-brainer. Yeah. Most of you paid attention. Next one, please. About 65% of the collected clothing of Sympany can be reused. So is resold for reuse markets. True or false? "65% was the right answer. So for us, 20% is the recycling. Next question, please. And the rest is residual waste. You won't believe what people throw in a textile container. How many kilograms of textile do we collectively throw away? Collectively, not per person, obviously. Yeah. This is something I didn't mention, but some of you know the information from the effect reports. Yeah, 305 million kilograms in the Netherlands. Eh? Next question, please. Yeah, this dress, it's actually funny, but it's this dress that's been on a picture. Is it re-wearable or not? It's kind of a sorting experiment with you. You want to check it for stains, right? True, it is re-wearable. Next question. It's this shirt, men's shirt. Is it re-wearable or not? And with these shirts, you always need to pay attention to this part, right? And probably from where you're sitting at the end, you can see even it's yellow here. So, is it re-wearable or not? It's recycle quality. So this is a short sorting experience for all of you. Right now, I'd like to introduce Erica van Doorn on stage. Yeah, can I have the slides back on screen, please? So, Eric, welcome.
Hello.
I already introduced you as a shareholder and a board member of Saxel. Now tell me, how does it work?
How does it work? The Saxel aim is to use or to increase this 1% recycle material, what you mentioned, to a much higher level. Our feedstock is this waste stream, And the only important is that it consists of a high percentage of cotton. Quality is not important, because in the saxcel process, a complete new fiber will be created. So if the quality of the feedstock is very low, this is no problem.
So, sorry to interrupt, this one could be used for saxcel?
If this is a reasonable cotton content, then it can be used for saxcel.
Okay, yeah?
For people who know a little bit more about textiles, you can compare the fibers we produce with the lyocell fibers. For example, Tencel, this is a lyocell fiber. So the fiber we produce is really high quality. And the big difference is that normally lyocell fibers are produced from wood, and we produce it from worn textiles, which are at the end of the life cycle.
Okay, so I understand that right now there's a pilot factory in the east of the Netherlands, right?
Yes.
And a pilot factory, typically you start to learn a lot, how to finally get to the right scale, right? So
yeah.
What have you learned during this period of the pilot factory?
What have we learned? For this pilot plant, we choose equipment, which you can see on this picture, which is more or less a washing machine, which you also have at home. But since in the chemical recycling we use chemicals, we found out that our washing machine was not totally resistant against these chemicals. So we got leakage on most all food places, and more problems related to the equipment. Another item is that these worn textiles, which come from Sympany, for example, they're not only cotton, they consist of a percentage polyester, a percentage elastan, and they can be colored. And we are testing in our pilot plant how can we remove this polyester, how can we remove this elastan, and can we also decolor the products. And this is not easy. And I think this is a general item which is making recycling complicated. That if you get this waste stream, which is at the end, it's many different materials, different products, and to get out all the materials which can interfere with your process, it's not easy.
You're
so
right,
we have
because
enough to do.
I can see here, this is 97% in the label. It's 97% cotton and 3% spandex. So that is a challenge then for you.
Yeah, spandex is a new challenge. I think it's a sort of elastan, but this is what we have to learn. And in this label, it's mentioned quite clear, but this is not always the case. So a lot of work to do. And we started to make it, in the beginning, not too complicated with white cotton. And this is which is under control now. Yeah. Now we are testing with colors, polyester, elastan.
And I understand that there are a lot of brands who are very eager to have some trials, to touch the fibers and to try and make some samples. But this is right now not possible, right?
That's right, because our process consists of two steps. One step is the pulping, which we are doing in our pilot factory. And the second step is wet spinning, which is outsourced to a company specialized on this. And there we also have to make our process fit to their specifications. And this is where we are now. We expect within a reasonable time the first batches of fibers produced, from which we then can make yarns and weave it and make end products.
Okay.
And there's a lot of interest from the garment industry, for example, to use our material in their products.
Sympany is also one of the shareholders in Saxel, and I was very surprised actually to learn that the pulping we can do in the Netherlands and even maybe later on have a bigger factory. But like you said, we also, after that, you need wet spinning facilities to make yarn out of it.
Ja.
And I didn't realize that wet spinning actually we don't have in Europe anymore. So only for the lyocell you have in Austria this wet spinning facility of Lenzing, but they have their own process, right, with the wood. But in Europe there is not such a facility anymore. So how does Saxel plan to go about that?
Yeah, that's a problem, because the problem with the wet spinning is that it only can be economically feasible when you do it on a very high scale. So there are only a few factories in the world who do this. And if you want to build a plant on a smaller scale, it's very difficult or impossible to get it economically feasible.
So the closest wet spinning facility to the Netherlands is where?
It is in Austria.
But after Austria?
There's a wet spinning plant built at the moment in Turkey.
Okay.
But we are working together with India at this moment.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a reality, where we have to live with at this moment, sure.
Final question, because I see the time's up. The final question is, what do you need to scale up? When is this going to happen and what do you need?
What do we need? First, what we have learned from our pilot plant, with this information, we will make a plan for a factory on larger capacity. For example, 1,000 tons per year, 1 million case. So this is a reasonable scale. We are working now on this plan. How will this factory look like? How do we organize the feedstock for this factory? Because 1 million kilos per year is maybe for you not a problem. But we must have the right specification. So the sorting is very important. We must also check the economical possibilities for which price can we sell our fibers. And with this information, we must make the plan and try to find investors who are willing to invest in this factory. Hopefully with help from the government, because you're really talking about big money, 10 million euro, around this sum.
Number, yeah.
And this is only possible with in investors with a big wallet.
Okay, so that's going to happen next year, right?
Yeah.
Then we want the investors to join. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your contribution. Don't know if there are any questions in the crowd. Yeah, 3 questions, okay.
Just one quick question. Do you think 10% of elastan is too much?
Excuse me. For recording for the online people who can see this presentation afterwards, my colleague has a
Okay. Just a quick question. 10% of elastan. You said 2% is challenging, but what about 10%? Is it doable with the current technology to recycle clothing with 10% of elastan?
We don't know at the moment. What we know is that when there is 10% elastan, that this will be a waste stream. So in that case, only 90% is usable, and this 10% is waste stream.
But do you agree that the technology evolves? I mean, what cannot be recycled now maybe can be done in the future?
Yes, this is certainly true. For example, in garments, a lot of mixtures with polyester are used. And in industrial garments, even more polyester as cotton. And we are starting to work together with companies who recycle the polyester part. For them, the cotton is a waste stream, and we will take this cotton for our Saxel process. Even this is the case with mechanical recycling. There, depending on the quality of the feedstock, there's also a percentage of very small fibers, with low fiber lengths, which are not usable for mechanical recycling, but which can be used in our process. So we will build up all connections with other companies and connect the waste streams to use as much as possible and not put it in the waste bin.
Any other questions? No? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.